Hey y'all, welcome to Geeking Out, the podcast about all geeky aspects of software delivery, DevOps, observability, reliability, and everything in between. I'm your host, Adriana Villela, coming to you from Toronto, Canada.
Geeking out with me today, I have Edith Puclla.
Yeah.
And where are you calling from today?
Yeah. I am calling from UK, London, UK.
Awesome. I've had a few people on the show that have called in from London. I think you're like the third person from London. I had Abby Bangser, who I think it was Abby who introduced us, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Abby is the ultimate connector of people. So thank you, Abby, for introducing us. Yes, I had Abby and then Jennifer Riggins, who is a tech journalist. You probably saw a bunch of her pieces on the News Stack. And then you. So you are my three London, UK people. Very exciting.
Thank you.
And we share a South American connection as well, right?
Yes, you are from Brazil, right?
Yes.
Peru here.
Yay! Home of the llamas.
We love llamas. We love them.
Oh yeah, you have the awesome mug. Yeah, I was saying I was telling you earlier before we started recording that llamas and capybaras are like my two favorite animals in the world. So I always get excited when I see either one of them. Cool. Well, let's start with the lightning round questions. Are you ready?
Yes, ready.
Okay. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
Right.
Okay. Prefer iPhone or Android?
iPhone,
Okay. Do you prefer to use Mac, Linux, or Windows?
Linux. I love Linux.
All right. Hardcore. I love it. What is your favorite programming language?
Okay, there are many now. My favorite right now, I can say that is Rust.
Very cool. Very cool. I hear that it's great, but also very complicated to get into.
Yes, I mean, I don't code like a deep programming. I am just starting, just learning, but I was fascinated for what you can do
Oh,
it.
cool.
But
I'm curious, as a sidebar, how what got you interested in learning Rust?
um, because how you can easily integrate with other technologies, for example, with Docker. I was trying to play,
Uh-huh.
and I was able to do
Ah,
something fast with Rust.
yeah.
And using ChatGPT is also a great tool to learn, right?
Yeah. That's awesome. Very cool. Okay. Next question. Do you prefer dev or ops?
Hard question here. Yeah, I prefer ops.
Okay, cool. Next one. Do you like JSON or YAML better?
YAML.
Yeah, I'm with you on YAML.
I feel that I can read it friendly.
Yes. Yeah, that's my thing with YAML too. I think it's easier to read. Okay, next one. Maybe controversial. Spaces or tabs? Which one do you like better?
Spaces or tabs. I use spaces.
All right.
Yeah. You?
Um, okay. So I used to be a big fan of tabs, but then I started using spaces, like especially when working with YAML because it felt a little bit more organic for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, so I used to be like very adamant, like, no, it's got to be tabs. But now I'm like, I'm open. But right now I'm down for spaces. So yeah.
Okay. You have to say.
Also, like, kudos to you for like turning the question back on me.
Yeah. I was thinking, you like your sounds, oh, but I am curious about you too. Why you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Very awesome. Okay, two more questions. Do you prefer to consume content through video or text?
Okay. I love videos. Even I I have a hard moments reading a lot of text. I
Yeah.
go overwhelmed, but videos is more easy for me to consume. For you, I can imagine that too because you do videos a lot also, right?
No, it's mostly text for me.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's funny though, I was talking to my dad yesterday, so my dad does not he was like, "I do not like podcasts." I'm like, "But my podcast is on video too." And he's like, "It's just boring to see people's heads on video." But he's more of a video guy because he likes the
Yeah.
visual
Mhm.
stuff. He refuses to do podcasts, and my daughter loves videos. Like she's always like
Yes.
learning things on like on Instagram or like YouTube. So yeah.
Yeah, and you have a lot of posts to post the articles, right?
Yeah, I definitely like I prefer writing. I think I've embraced video a little bit more. Like I used to be very scared of editing video, and I feel like nowadays the tools have made it easier to do video edits so that it looks like I'm not fumbling around. So I I feel a lot more comfortable doing video editing compared to like 10 years ago when it
Yeah.
felt impossibly hard.
Similar happened to me with writing. I feel
Hmm.
really hard writing. Long time ago, I was not able to write a single article. It take me too long to write. But now I feel I'm more comfortable because I am trying to do constantly.
Oh, that's awesome. Yay. I love to hear stuff like that. Okay, final question. What is your superpower?
Patience.
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 I love it.
Yeah. You?
Oh geez. My superpower. I think I'm really good at connecting people together. I find myself in situations where like I'll have a conversation with someone and then they'll ask me a question. I'm like, I know a person that you can talk to.
No. Wow.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
remember. You have a lot of people in your mind.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I at least remember people who should be talking to each other.
That's a superpower. Super
Yeah, yeah.
superpower.
All right, cool. Well, that was it for the lightning round questions. You survived. Yay.
Thank you. Thanks. 10 points for me. Thanks.
Okay, so now for the fun stuff. So, we, as I mentioned before, we got connected through Abby, and then it turns out we have like another connection in common, which is we're both CNCF ambassadors from the spring 2023 group. So very exciting. I guess our first year of ambassadorship is coming to a close, and will be. I guess they're renewing applications end of this month. So my question to you is like, how has it been? How has it been this last like almost year as a CNCF ambassador?
Yes, almost a year because we started at March, I think, the last year.
Yeah, yeah.
I was here in London too. Then I go back to Peru, and how I feel this year, yeah, being CNCF ambassador. Um, I think it doesn't cost to me too much make things for being ambassador because I was in the category. If you see, there are several categories, right?
Yeah.
If you run events or you go many, you can choose whatever you want. I choose the part of content creations, which I love. So when I'm inspired, I just create a video, I just make a flyer or a PDF, anything which I do in my free time. And I love it because editing videos and making that things require a lot of patience. And you know, that's my
Yes, that there's the superpower.
that's my superpower. And I can do it, I can do that. And it's easy. And I feel really excited. I feel like I'm going to apply again for
Nice.
this year. Yeah, but this the last months I was not just involving in content creation. I was also involving in organizing events. We are organizing Kubernetes Community Days. Lima, Peru is the first time we are running this event in Peru
Ooh,
with other
nice.
members of the community and also being members of CNCF, no, CFP proposals reviewers, for example. I was trying
Yeah,
to involve in many other things, not just
yeah.
content pronunciation. And
Yeah.
a lot of things to learn, a lot of things that I never did in the past, but I never thought to do it, but I am doing
Yeah.
it. Wow, this is amazing. This is it's hard sometimes because it costs to learn, but it's very, very interesting. And I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And you know, I have to say, like, I really enjoyed being a CNCF ambassador because of the different opportunities that it's opened up. Like just making new connections and being given opportunities to review CFPs and being given like speaking opportunities that you necessarily wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah, I feel in the same way. Just to tell you that the first trip that I did in my life outside Peru was for CNCF because I won a scholarship. So I didn't speak English, just my name. Hello. And I got to Seattle and saw a different experience. Just being in the Quebecom at Seattle, it was just amazing and things that made me think, wow, there is doors here that I should start to open. It's here, I should go. I saw a lot of opportunities. And since then, I go to that side of CNCF and all those communities, and my career just start to grow up. Yeah, grow up. Still doing that. I think the support for women in tech is also very valuable. What we are doing as a community.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to go back to like, you know, your earlier comment on like, you know, your first trip out of Peru was and you said it was you didn't know English at the time. How long ago was that?
20,
Um,
I'm sorry, it was 2018. 2018, yes. I mean, I study English, yes, I talk basic English, but once
yeah,
you are outside, you it's different.
it's
Eh,
different. Yeah.
no, my
It's so true. It's
it
so
was
true.
not
Well,
that.
because it's the slang, it's the technical terms.
Yes.
It, it's funny because I was thinking back, like as you mentioned, I'm from Brazil, but I grew up most of like I've been in Canada since I was 10. I've been in Canada for like almost 35 years. So you know, I am bilingual. I'm even trilingual. I speak French too. But I have to say my Portuguese has degraded in the time that I've been here, even though like I speak to my parents in
Mhm.
Portuguese, but like I lack some of the technical terminology and I even lack some of the slang. So I actually started joining like following people on Instagram like for Portuguese language school so that I could like up my game to like just get back into like some of the slang terms and just be a little bit more conversational than I
Yeah.
am because I've lost some of that from not being around like that many Portuguese speakers.
Yeah, I understand. I understand that. I have been here speaking English not too long time, but I already start to forgetting how to write things in Spanish. And I brought it wrong. And my father is always correct me. Asterisk, asterisk.
I know my dad's always correcting me as well because sometimes I'll like do a translation, what seems to be a direct translation of the English word to Portuguese, and he's like, "Yeah, that's not the same word. It means something totally different." I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Yes.
And then I feel so embarrassed. I'm like, "Oh."
Pray for me. You are not alone.
But then I remember something that I've read, like, you know, being able to speak more than one language and making the effort to converse in more than one language is putting yourself out there. It's a sign of bravery because like holy crap, it is so scary to like attempt to communicate in a language that you're not necessarily familiar with or like super comfortable speaking in. Like before we met today for to record this, I recorded a podcast episode in Portuguese, and it
Mhm.
was my second time recording a podcast episode in Portuguese.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was so scared because I'm like, I don't know technical terminology in Portuguese. And so like some of the advice that I got from a few of my Brazilian friends who live here in
Mhm.
Toronto, they're like, don't worry, if you don't know the word, just use the English word, but give it a bit of a Portuguese accent.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, like, even though like something like that completely scared the shit out of me, at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to force myself to do this because the more I do it, the more comfortable I will get.
Yes. Yes. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why we are like that. I mean, we are really afraid what we
I
jump.
know, right?
We jump and we start to doing. Then it passed and we said, we did it.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Yeah,
But before that,
absolutely.
you start to feel like the fear, like the hands start to with everything, the scary moment. Then you just go. But then you jump to another thing, to start to jump
Yes,
to a ring and another ring. It's like these emotions. It never ends.
exactly. Exactly. It actually reminds me of, like, I was having this conversation last week where with someone where I'm like, oh my God, when I first learned about cloud and cloud native, I'm like, it's this terrifying, scary thing. So I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't know. I don't think I can do it. And then I did like my first thing in the cloud and I'm like, oh, okay. It was okay.
Yeah. Nothing,
It wasn't
you are
scary.
you are complete. Nothing happened. Yeah. It's weird how we can be afraid of things that also involve human beings, right? Like communications, like speaking. We are afraid. I don't know what we are afraid. What is the fear that we feel, um, to be exposed to see that others look at us and we are trying to embarrass. I think we all are humans, and we all have these mistakes.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we judge ourselves a lot more than others judge
Yes.
us because like when I'm having a conversation with someone in Portuguese, especially like with my family in Brazil, and thankfully I have, Google Translate to help me when I'm on WhatsApp, but I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna look at me and they're gonna like make fun of my grammar or whatever, or use the wrong word. But then like I also have to remind myself they have better things to do than to nitpick on your grammar. Like they
Yeah,
have their own lives. Get over yourself. It's not all about you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But okay, so I want to switch gears again and talk a little bit about your career, like how you got into and I know like you do a lot of work around Kubernetes and containers. Like, what got you in it?
Yeah. Okay, I was in the field of tech for almost 10 years, I can say. Um, I worked as a DevOps, also as a developer for big companies in Peru, for companies where I started from scratch. Things was really hard. For example, when DevOps was not big tendence right now, we are starting from scratch. I started from scratch alone, trying to start servers, make all that stuff was really hard, but challenge. And after that, I decided to quit my job in 2018, I think 2019, yeah, because of healthy problems, emotional problems, healthy problems, back problems, and with family problems. Everything, like when you have one and everything start to make a big thing. And I decided to take a moment. I take 2 years. I never thought it would take me too much, but I took 2 years. Okay, but these 2 years was really amazing for me. It was amazing because I give me this time to know me better, thing that I never did in the past because I was always running, piecing the car. I don't know how to say the accelerator of the car and
Yeah.
go trying to yes in that life. But then when everything happened, I just no plan, nothing for the future. Just that. Just myself, my thoughts, and my body. And thinking what made me happy? What will make me happy for the future? Is how I invest that time in 2 years. So not just thinking, but also doing, because I wanted to improve English. I wanted to improve also my technical skills, and I realized that tech make me happy. It's one of the
Aw,
things that also make me happy. Okay, I'm also a geek.
I love it.
Yeah. Between several things, techs also make me happy. And I start to improve my skills. I start to learning English, which was really challenge for me. Now I can communicate how I want. I think I need to improve, but it's good for me. So I started to apply for jobs after having an internship in Outreachy. Did you hear about Outreachy?
Yes, yes, I have heard of,
I
yes.
didn't pronounce it.
For folks who have not heard of Outreachy,
Yes, yeah, Outreachy
yeah,
is a program, open source program. In 3 months, you can have a mentor. It is also paid, so you learn a lot of things because you put your hands in real open source projects. I put my hands in Apache Airflow, where I start to code, I start to make things that I had never thought to do it. It was really amazing. And I wasn't with OIO, but they give me a pay, so it was enough to me to survive and to learn English and to improve some soft skills and also technical skills. Then I started to apply a job. I set a goal for me, for myself, to apply for an international company.
uh-huh.
So where I can speak English, have that opportunity to speak English. So apply maybe to 200 or jobs in 2 months. I apply the most I can outside.
Wow.
Sweden, Germany, USA. I send my CVs a lot. So one of the
Damn.
companies was Percona. And after the process and everything, I was hired by Percona. And now I'm working as a technology evangelist in Percona, which is an open source company too.
That's so cool. And I have to say, like, it so resonated with me when you said that, as part of your time of, like, really like digging into who you are and what you love, that you decided that you love tech. Because I felt like I went through a similar thing in my career as well. I had quit. I was working at a bank, and I had quit my job at the bank to become a professional full-time photographer.
Wow.
Um, and I was like, this is it. I'm done. I don't want to work in tech. I want to do photography. This is my passion. And I did it for a year. And then
Mhm.
I came to this moment in my life where I was like, so, like, it's really hard. And if I really want to make this work, I can probably, like, give it another year or two and probably finally start seeing growth. Cause at the time it was like, I wasn't really, right. Then I thought, but do I want to invest this extra time to grow my photography business? What do I actually like doing? And then I realized I had more fun tinkering around, like doing my newsletters and tinkering around with my website. And like, I was using WordPress, and I bought this like plugin that wasn't working. And I'm like, let's go into the PHP code to see what's wrong. And I'm like, oh, I think I like that more. So I ended up like, I'm like, you know what? I want to go back to tech. And it was it took a year of me not being in tech to realize that I actually enjoyed tech. So
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, your story so much resonated
yeah,
with me, and I think it's so awesome and so important to take the time in our careers to like figure out what makes us happy, because I don't know, we're at work for like most of our lives, and it better be something that we enjoy, right?
yeah. And it's different and it's unique history. I can say yours, for example, is totally different than mine, but it's very unique. It has the meaning for you. And that is the good thing, the very important thing that maybe nobody's gonna understand, but we are going to understand, right? Uh,
Yeah.
we
Ooh.
are the only one who understand that special moment.
Yes, it's so true. Very deep thoughts. I love it. So philosophical. It's so great. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, because you like, how did you get into doing like Kubernetes work?
um, Kubernetes. In Peru, we started to hear about Docker, for example. We
Hmm.
started to see the whale everywhere. So I like the doll. What is the doll? And that was the curiosity. The doll bring
Mm.
the terminal to Docker and containers and all that stuff. The same, I think, happened with Kubernetes. We in Peru we were started to listen about Kubernetes as a technology, as a standard, things, but just listening, no
Uh-huh.
doing things. So I started to follow what is this Kubernetes thing that people talk, and I start to follow people on social media, like Lisa Rice, for example, the first. people that I was following was Kelsey. You interview Kelsey, and Kelsey, Liz, there's big thing, big people there. So I was really fascinated for the keynotes that they did. So I started to investigate about Cubicle, and it's how I got the scholarship to go. And once I go there, I see, wow, Kubernetes is the thing. So I started doing some demos at home with Google Cloud because I had free credit. So I start to play because it's what I want to. I love to do, to play with
Mhm.
technology, do it, destroy it, create it, destroy it.
Yes.
Mac, Linux, Windows, destroy it again. It's I don't know, but I feel it. I found it funny or yes, funny, enjoyable. I don't know
Yeah, yeah.
what is the word. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
fun.
fun. Yes. Mhm.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's so cool, and I especially love what you said about like creating and destroying, and I think that's honestly some of the most fun stuff about like playing with Kubernetes clusters is like you do a bunch of stuff, you mess it up, okay, time to start over again.
Yeah, we are not in production, so it's
Yeah,
okay. You can destroy it, right?
exactly. Yeah, yeah, definitely don't do that with your production cluster. That would be. So you mentioned like playing around with Google Cloud. Have you played around with any other cloud providers?
Yes, I had the opportunity to play with Red Hat, with Amazon, with Google Cloud, and Azure. Yeah.
Cool. And which one's your favorite of the ones you've played with?
What? Google is my favorite. I don't know. I feel like interface, the graphical user interface was more for me easy to do it, easy to create, to understand. For me, I feel that in that time, I feel that Amazon has a lot of things maybe that I didn't get too much distracted. But anyway, I use in the same time the three cloud providers.
Cool. That's awesome. So switching gears a bit, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of like your community work.
Thank you for the question. And community, I started in community participating as all of us, just going to the events and see people talking and watch, right? But then I say, okay, there is another way because you are in the certain level. I can say you advance a little bit in your career, and you say, okay, there is people who did a lot for you. They give
Hmm.
time, they prepare, so you learn. So let's make it something for that too. And it's the mindset of the community, right? Get back, that kind of things. So now we started with creating communities. I say we because it's not just me. Is we always work with people in communities, and we created communities in the city where I was living. There was in
Hmm.
the city where I was living lacks of community techs. Ayacucho, Peru, there is no much communities in tech, so it's where I wanted to start. I'm going to
Hmm.
create communities with many people. So Docker was one of the companies that helped me to make it with sponsoring some events. So we start to create events four per year. For example, we celebrate the anniversary of Docker birthday, the 10th anniversary, which was very a lot of people going to that event, and they are learning about the technology. And that is one of the words that we are working until now. I like of that, and I feel proud about that because we are doing something small, but maybe could be impactful for and give this opportunity to people that don't have the opportunity to make in that city without leaving the city. Hmm?
Hmm.
Yeah, this is one of the things that we are doing, and the other is CNCF. I
Yep.
love I love this. So we had this big opportunity also because CNCF sponsor it, and we have all the support of CNCF to make it possible. La Kubernetes Community Days in my country, in Peru. So we, as a team, because we are several people working in that, we are creating this community for this year, for July. So I hope we can see it and we can repeat it over the year. So this will be impact also. and generate more opportunities for people in our country.
That's so amazing. Now how much work goes into putting together a Kubernetes community day? But actually, before I get you to answer that, maybe it would be helpful to explain to our audience, like what is a Kubernetes community day? Like what's the purpose of having something like that?
Yeah, these are spaces where we give people had the opportunity to share about the expertise they have about the Kubernetes and the CNCF ecosystem
Hmm.
that exists. So a Kubernetes Community Days is an event, could be in person, online, or both, two
Hmm.
days or one day. We choose that, and where several experts or people who want to share about this about the ecosystem of Kubernetes go and start to talk about that. Could be not just talk, could be workshop, could be several things, lightning
Yeah.
talks, open forums, things like that. And sometimes it's free, sometimes it requires some payment. It depends on the organization, but
Okay.
it's a big opportunity to join a lot of experts and beginners, enthusiasts, members of communities between all this ecosystem, Kubernetes ecosystem.
That's amazing. So it's basically like a little like mini conference.
Yeah, if we
Or is
see,
it mini though? It sounds
it's
like
not.
it probably not mini.
I was
I
saying,
see. I'm like, oh, it sounds like a lot of work.
if we compare it with Cubicon, could be mini, but to be
Uh-huh.
honest, it's not like to mini. What not mini? Like I saw 500 people in some of the Kubernetes communities in Europe, I think. And
Holy cow.
it's
Damn.
we are targeting in Peru for the Kubernetes Community Days Peru. We are targeting also 500 people. Yeah, attendees.
Amazing. That's so cool. And so like for organizing Kubernetes Community Day or KCD, um it what type of support do you get from the CNCF? Like as a CNCF ambassador, I would imagine that you get some a little extra boost of support from the CNCF. So if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. What we have is support from members of the CNCF, people who work there. So they help us to organize, and we have like meetings, synchronization meetings, and sometimes to see how is our progress. Also, they try to support us the most they can. For example, providing us the logos and designer people who can also help us. They also assign a budget for coupons, courses coupons, and some budget. I don't remember the amount of the budget to start the event that will help us for some to pay some things. And what more? I think they also have. I'm not sure about that, but they give the opportunity also to travel to the Cubecom, I think, but maybe I am wrong. I'm not sure about that. But I think there is many opportunities once you are in the ecosystem and once you are doing things. There are many opportunities. Networking is also a big opportunity because you're
Yeah.
planning an event. You can contact with several people who also are organizing. This is my first time organizing, so I don't have precise mm, response or how much that will take me because it's the
Yeah.
first time that I am running it. Let's see how it goes.
Cool. And does the CNCF provide then like the funding, the overall funding for running a KCD, or do you like also like do they provide some funding? Do you need like sponsorships? Like how does that work?
Yeah, we need a sponsorship. Each team try to find a sponsorship in the country or outside the country. So
Mhm.
with that budget is how they destinate how many attendees we will have and how we are going to assign it. In some cases, this is free, and the budget
Mhm.
that you need is maybe less, uh,
Mhm.
right? It depends, to be honest, of the country and of the city of the country because
Mhm.
the Kubernetes community is now is for city. So let's give the opportunity to have more. in a country.
Cool. That's awesome.
Did you think to organize an event? Did you think to participate? Or
So I'm actually helping to organize an event in Toronto called Cube Huddle, which is like I think the first Cube Huddle took place in the UK. I want to say a few years ago, and then there was a Cube Huddle in Toronto last year that I attended as a speaker. So then the organizer of Cube Huddle, Marino, he asked me at the end of last one. He's like, "Do you want to help organize the 2024 one?" I'm like, "Okay."
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so I am involved in that. So I because I have so many things on my plate, like, you know, I'm trying to take on what I can without being overwhelmed, but still making sure that I help out. So this is my first experience with that. And the Cube Huddle's taking place on May the 7th in Toronto. So this year it's going to be a 1-day conference. Last year it was a 2-day conference. This year it's a 1-day single track conference. So yeah, very exciting. So is KCD Peru, is it going to be is it a 1-day or 2-day conference?
1-day conference.
1 day?
Yes.
And is it multiple tracks or is it single track?
Multiple. We are thinking
Multiple.
to make it multiple. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Running another part. Lightnings. Yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Very exciting. I'm super stoked for you. I hope it all goes well. Now we are coming up on time, but before we finish off, do you have any parting words of wisdom for our audience?
If I can say something, it's enjoy life.
I love that. That is perfect.
See the sun, look at that, and enjoy it. It's very nice sometimes if you have sun.
Except on cold days.
It's really cold. There is no sun.
I don't know what's the temperature like in London today, because here it's a warm -4 Celsius.
Yes. Today there was a sun, but once you put the finger outside, it's freezing. You really, it's so cold outside, but the sun was there, lining.
Oh, I mean that makes it better. Yesterday it was like -15 in Toronto, and I went for a walk, and I had to go into different stores to warm up so I didn't freeze.
Yes. Yeah, similar.
But yes, I absolutely love your parting words of wisdom. I think we need to, we get so caught up in our work lives that we forget to also just take a break, reset, enjoy life, enjoy the non-work time. Well, this was awesome. Thank you so much, Edith, for geeking out with me today. Y'all don't forget to subscribe and be sure to check the show notes for additional resources and to connect with us and our guests on social media. Until next time.
Peace out and geek out.
Geeking Out is hosted and produced by me, Adriana Vilela. I also compose and perform the theme music on my trusty clarinet. Geeking Out is also produced by my daughter, Hannah Maxwell, who incidentally designed all of the cool graphics. Be sure to follow us on all the socials by going to bento.me/geekingout.